stories new at 6. Embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is mounting a re-election bid. Henyard made the announcement in a post on her Facebook page.
Hey guys.
Let's talk about Tiffany Henyard, the self-proclaimed savior of Dalton, Illinois, and her relentless campaign to secure another term as mayor. If you haven't been following the saga, buckle up. This story has it all: political theatrics, financial mismanagement, public stunts, and even a federal investigation. It's like a real-life sitcom, but with much higher stakes for Dalton's 20,000 residents. As her re-election campaign heats up, Tiffany's pulling out all the stops. From shoveling snow to making dramatic Facebook Live videos, she's doing whatever it takes to stay in the spotlight. The election isn't until 2025, yet she's already ramping up efforts to keep her position, despite a cloud of controversy hanging over her. Imagine this: a snowy day in Dalton, and there's Tiffany, shovel in hand, ready to save the day. Or at least make it look like she is. With her 2 live crew by her side, she's tossing snow and delivering speeches about how much she loves the community. But here's the catch. While she's performing for the cameras, Dalton's streets are falling apart. Its finances are in disarray, and residents are growing increasingly frustrated. This isn't leadership. It's a spectacle.
The election is not until 2025, yet Tiffany Henyard has officially decided she wants to stay as mayor despite the cloud of controversy surrounding her.
Tiffany's snow clearing stunt is just the latest in a series of PR moves aimed at showcasing her as a hands-on leader. She's even been spotted fiddling with communication equipment in a snowplow, calling out "breaker, breaker," as if she's starring in an action movie. But let's be honest. Shoveling a little snow isn't going to solve Dalton's $3 million deficit or repair its crumbling infrastructure. Why is she acting like she's 16 years old? One viewer commented after watching her antics online, "It's pathetic." And that sentiment seems to resonate across Dalton, where frustration with her theatrics is growing.
So yes, keep telling y'all never, ever, ever find another person like me.
The contrast between Tiffany's public persona and the reality of her leadership couldn't be more stark. While she's busy staging photo ops, Dalton residents are left to deal with the fallout from her administration's alleged financial mismanagement. Multiple reports have revealed that she spent millions on questionable expenses, including a jaw-dropping $43,000 in a single day on Amazon. Yes, you read that right, $43,000. Meanwhile, while she's splurging on online shopping sprees, the town can't even afford basic supplies, with government offices reportedly running out of paper and ink.
This is your super mayor, Tiffany Henyard, the people's mayor. We out here taking care of the business of the people.
It's no surprise, then, that Tiffany's re-election campaign is facing widespread skepticism. Despite branding herself as the people's mayor, her actions tell a different story. From hiring DJs to blast music at town events to plastering her face across Dalton on massive billboards, her priorities seem less about serving the community and more about building her personal brand. One resident even compared her to a South American dictator, saying, "It's like Venezuela." This is what they do, putting their faces everywhere. Ouch. The criticism doesn't stop there. Residents have also accused Tiffany of retaliating against her political opponents and anyone who publicly questions her leadership. Business owners have shared stories of harassment by local officials after refusing to contribute to her campaign. One trucking company owner claimed that after turning down Tiffany's repeated demands for donations, his business license was mysteriously revoked. "If you don't play by her rules, you're out," he said. These tactics have left many residents feeling intimidated and silenced, further fueling their frustration with her administration.
It looks like a misspending of tax funds. I think that's the biggest concern.
Adding to the drama is Tiffany's insistence on maintaining a heavy police presence wherever she goes. Reports suggest that her personal security detail, funded by taxpayers, has cost Dolton over $1 million in overtime pay for officers. Critics argue that these resources would be better spent addressing the town's rising crime rates, rather than acting as Tiffany's private entourage. Former Dolton Police Chief Robert Collins even claimed that officers were regularly pulled from patrol duty to chauffeur Tiffany or provide security at her public appearances. "We needed those officers on the streets fighting crime," Collins said. Instead, they were babysitting the mayor. Her spending habits have also sparked outrage among the town's trustees, who accuse her of bypassing their authority to approve large expenses. For example, Tiffany recently spent $85,000 to host an extravagant party featuring celebrity performers, all without consulting the board. While she billed the event as a celebration for the community, many residents question the necessity of such a lavish affair given Dolton's financial struggles. "It's like she's living in a fantasy world where Dolton's problems don't exist," one trustee commented. "How can you justify this kind of spending when we're millions in debt?"
Now to important business in Thornton Township, which hit a roadblock tonight, not because of the weather, not because of logistics, but because two trustees refused to show up.
But Tiffany isn't backing down. In fact, she's doubling down on her rhetoric, insisting that she's the best thing to happen to Dolton. "You have to give respect to get it," she said during a heated public meeting as frustrated residents demanded answers about the town's finances. "A lot of you come to this microphone talking about nothing, which means you really are fans of mine, and I appreciate that." Tiffany, they're not fans. They're angry voters who want accountability.
Don and Scott, the meeting wrapped up early because two trustees, as you mentioned, did not show up. Chris Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle. Without them, not enough board members were present to make official decisions.
And Tiffany isn't the only one being called out. Dolton trustees have been locked in a bitter power struggle with her for months, accusing her of going rogue and making unilateral decisions without their approval. Take her recent appointment of a new police chief, for example. Tiffany selected Ronald Burge, a controversial figure whose law enforcement certification is reportedly inactive. Trustees called the move illegal, and even the state agency overseeing law enforcement sent Tiffany a warning letter, stating that Burge wasn't qualified for the position. But Tiffany pushed forward anyway, claiming she had the authority to make the hire. The result? Yet another legal battle added to the growing list of lawsuits surrounding her administration. Then there's the matter of Tiffany's personal finances. Despite earning a combined $300,000 annually from her roles as Dolton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor, she's facing eviction from her rented home. Her landlord, who once considered Tiffany a friend, claims that she and her boyfriend stopped paying rent in August after refusing to agree to a modest rent increase. To make matters worse, the landlord alleges Tiffany changed the locks on the house and garage, preventing access for repairs. "Just pay your rent," the landlord said in frustration, adding that even if the overdue rent is paid, she still wants Tiffany out. When I first looked at it, I thought, what is she running for now? Because that's what it shouts out. This eviction drama is just the latest in a string of controversies that have plagued Tiffany's time in office. From accusations of forging checks to allegations of using taxpayer money for personal luxuries, the list of grievances against her is long. And it's not just locals raising concerns. The FBI is reportedly investigating her administration, and former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was even brought in to review Dolton's finances. Lightfoot's findings were damning, revealing that the town's general fund balance had plummeted from over $5 million in 2022 to a deficit of $3 million by mid-2024. So how does Tiffany respond to all this criticism? By going on the offensive, of course. In a recent 90-minute Facebook Live rant, she accused her opponents of orchestrating a smear campaign against her, calling it a power and money grab. She even hinted at pressing charges against unnamed individuals, though she provided no evidence of wrongdoing. "Now it's time for me to speak," she declared. Truth speaks. But for many, her words ring hollow. As one Dolton resident put it, Tiffany thinks she's the smartest person in the room when the entire room has determined she's a clown.
Every single resident. Pay me what you owe me.
And yet, Tiffany insists she's the victim, portraying herself as a champion of the people who's being unfairly targeted by her enemies. During one public meeting, she lashed out at her critics, saying, "Why is it with me in my life? Well, don't hear my side. You'll judge off the one side of a narrative that's out in the world, but never hear from me." But here's the thing. Tiffany has had plenty of opportunities to tell her side. Whether it's through her Facebook rants, self-promotion on billboards, or public events, she's never been shy about speaking up. The problem isn't that people aren't listening. It's that they don't believe her.
When I first looked at it, I thought, what is she running for now? Because that's what it shouts out.
And can you blame them? From her flashy spending habits to her questionable appointments, Tiffany's actions have consistently undermined her credibility. Even her own former allies have turned against her, including trustee Carmen Carlo, who once worked as Tiffany's assistant, but now describes her leadership in a very different light.